No, I'm not Catholic, but my grandmother was Catholic and she taught me how to pray. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, boy, hey. Hey, knee. Hey, niece. Fill up your mug. Fill up your mug. I don't have my mug. Of course, I'm in New York. I'm still in New York. Hey, girl, hey. Hey, boy, hey. I just got a little frozen meal. A little frozen meal from Trader Joe's. It's vegan marsala. Vegan tikka marsala. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Don't ask me what's in it. I've had it before, so I know it's pretty tasty. I have some Beyond Burgers in the freezer, because, I knew I would need a little something, a little munch on. But I figured I needed to come on this live and talk to you guys because I haven't been on here in so long. I haven't been on here since what, Thursday? I didn't get to come on Friday. I didn't get to come on Saturday, and I only posted a little short video on the Patreon on Saturday. I just woke up from a little siesta, Lakeisha. New York is handling me, baby. But I figured I would come on here today, Sunday, which I don't normally come on Sundays. Somebody blow this off for me. Here, blow this off. Come on, blow it. Keon, you queen. I called you earlier on FaceTime, you cunt. Don't try to act like I didn't call you. Thank you, cowgirl from DC. Thank you, Mantra. Ooh, somebody's breath is a little bad. Whose breath is that? Blowing on my food like that. Whose breath is that blowing on the food? And then you hear my voice is kind of scratchy, right? Like I thought I was going to lose my voice yesterday or earlier today. Like I started getting this little tickle in my throat. But when you get your little tickle in your throat, you go ahead and get your little peroxide, and you just gargle with it, and you got to let it hit the back of your throat. Let it hit the. Mantra said it wasn't her breath because she brushes faithfully and she oil pulls. Somebody's breath almost knocked me out though just now. But anyway, you gotta gargle and you gotta let it hit right back. You get that little tickle in your throat, that little scratch in your throat, like your voice, like your throat is about to be sore. You get you some of that, get you some peroxide, and just go ahead and just gargle back there, and it'll knock it out of there. No, I did not, Marie. Marie talking about I started on YouTube first. No, I didn't. I intentionally hit Facebook first because I knew it was gonna be somebody that was gonna be checking to see. Now here she goes spreading lies. And then my friend Danielle gave me some elderberry earlier. Hold on, let me show you. My friend Danielle gave me some elderberry. And she told me to put some of these, take some of these. It just calls for like 15 drops. It calls for 15 drops. It says sambucas. Sambucas. And so it's like berries. Hence the name, elderberry. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig, the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Coco said, Craig, it actually always says on my phone that you on YouTube, then Facebook pop up first. Oh, Facebook pop up after. Maybe Facebook is slower to notify you, but I definitely hit Facebook because I almost hit YouTube first because it's on my phone, and I have you guys on my iPad. But I hit Facebook first intentionally because somebody said something the last time. So maybe it says yes. Mantra said yes. YouTube does pop up first. Maybe Facebook is just slow with notifying you. So what you saying now? You want me to come on Facebook a minute early? Y'all something else. But listen, when I tell you that brunch today, listen, New York has been the best brunch city by far. Now, we've only done 2. So it ain't really nothing to compare it to except Chicago. But when I tell you New York showed the out today, YouTube, dear YouTube, they're shading y'all over here on Facebook. They're saying that I need to come live on Facebook first for a minute and then hit y'all. Y'all are mad. Alicia said, well, maybe not a minute. A 10-second delay will suffice. P. Marcel, stop. Now, this is just a little something just to tickle my appetite. Because when I tell you, I'm going to go over here and make this Beyond Burger once I'm done. Yes, when I tell you I sold some books today. We sold some books today. D'Antoine said Facebook still didn't outbid us. So it doesn't matter if he come on live on it. He has a point. Mystical D. Edwards. Now, why didn't you come to the show? I mean, now you can still come to the show tomorrow, but today was the brunch. When I tell you New York showed out, first of all, the brunch was from 1 to 4 p.m. It was from 1 to 4, niece, daughter. When I say y'all were at the door at 12:30 and 12:15, oh, Mystical said she had other plans. Oh, excuse us with your important ass. Excuse us with your important ass. When I say New Yorkers were lined up outside, baby, they came and they were ready with their appetites. Mantra has a prediction. Mantra said, you will be on the New York Times bestseller list before the year is out. P. Marcel says she paused Game of Thrones to watch this live. All right. But listen, when I say y'all showed up, New York showed up. Hey, Bianca. Hey, girl, hey. Listen, Michelle Yates will probably go back and watch this video. She had like knee surgery. I think she had a knee replacement. Y'all might not think I pay attention to what's going on, but you know, I know where a lot of you live. Not your address, but I know what city you're in. I know Michelle Yates talks really low like this. You know, I know like them people that have those things like this. I know she talks really low like this. You know, because when I say y'all talk like this, she always come in the comments be like, I don't talk like that. I talk like this. I talk like this. Yes, C88701, put it in the atmosphere. Makisha Matcham said, I'm going to get your second book tonight, niece. All right, Cash App ID is TheWriter. One book is $22, $36, $354. All the information is right there in the caption and in the and I pinned it. Let me see. Just being MC or Me-C. Just being Me-C said, I really wish I could have been there. I had to work today. Girl, you should have called in. Fuck that job. No, I'm just playing. And I have to be at work at 7 a.m. I hope y'all coming back soon and bring Lonnie Love. Lonnie Love or Lonnie B? She want us to bring the girl from The View? I mean, from The Real? Or she mean Lonnie B over there in D.C.? Oh, Nikisha says she needs to read it. Girl, I thought that was a sale. She said she just needs to read it. She already has it in her repertoire. Okay, we're looking for people who need to purchase the book. But anyway, listen. When I say New Yorkers showed up, New Yorkers showed the fuck up. Listen, y'all were outside at like I said, the brunch started at 1 o'clock. I didn't get to the venue until 12:15. I got to the venue at 12:15. 15 minutes after I got there. I know, Lola, we thought it was a sale. She need to read her book. Girl, you ain't got to tell me that. Just sit down and read it, niece. No, I'm just playing. But anyway, when I tell you y'all were at that door at 12:30 on y'all phones, like, y'all had y'all Eventbrite ready. When I came outside, when Gio and I came outside, y'all had y'all Eventbrites ready. I was scanning. Y'all were ready to go in. And baby, when I said they went straight to the buffet to eat, when I tell you them Negroes and Hispanic folk up here and Dominicans up here in New York went straight to the buffet, they went straight to the buffet. And the second stop was over there to the, we had bottomless mimosas up here. Baby, when I say the second stop was to get a carafe. Baby, listen here. And I like mimosas, but I'm not really big on orange juice mimosas. Mimosas are typically orange juice and champagne. Well, that's not what we had here. One was a yellow one, and one was like a pink one. But I think it was like a passion fruit and maybe a guava. I don't know. We in New York, so I don't know what it was. But when I tell you they were both good, they had the mimosas coming. When I say the bartenders had them carafes up on the bar. Look at Alicia trying to be fancy. No, girl, it was not a Bellini, daughter. Here she go, a Bellini. Girl, it's always one to try to show you up. It's always one to try to let you know that they've been out to brunch a couple times. Girl, no, it wasn't a Bellini. Marie Dixon. It was not a Bellini. It was not a Bellini. But anyway, listen. It was Cashar. What you mean? Here she go. You made your point with New York. What you saying? You don't want me to tell y'all about the brunch? She said, look, you made your point about New York. Girl, what you want me to stop talking about it? Lakeisha said they work hard, so they play hard in New York. Listen, yes, they do. Oh, Rita, I didn't know you were here, girl, with those Benson and Hedges, girl. The air was so fresh. I didn't know you were in here. So anyway, we had the brunch. It was very, very nice. It really, really was nice. And like I said, it was really good. Everything all around was very good. So Scott Jackson said, we damn sure do play hard. Listen, y'all showed up. Y'all got there. We said 1 o'clock, baby. Y'all were there at 12:30. Y'all were gonna get y'all money's worth. Y'all were gonna drink and eat y'all money's worth. I think I saw a few people with some aluminum foil sticking it in their purses. They're taking home. No, I'm just playing. I think I saw a few of my ghetto relatives with some aluminum foil. This is a vegan tikka masala. It's an Indian dish, but it's good. So of course the show is tomorrow, but at the brunch, we did the electric slide. We took pictures. We did the wobble, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble. I don't really like that song, but anyway, we did that, and we just had a good time. You know what I'm saying? It was really nice, and I sold a few bugs. Sure did. And then we had a photo booth. We had a picture booth. There was I don't know the name of the company, but it was a company that came. They set up a photo booth. And so we did that. Everybody was able to go over there and do the little photo booth thing at the end. And that was, and we put together the docket. Of course, Madison and I already had things that we were going to talk about. But what we've started to do is, in each city that we go to, we ask the people that come to the brunch for things that are local, that are native to the city. So, like in Chicago, we talked about their runoff election that they had with the lesbian and the other black woman. I can't remember her, Lightfoot and somebody. Anyway, so here in New York, we started talking about things that they wanted to, add to the docket for tomorrow. So we did that. It was a really, really good time. So if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, we will be there next weekend. I fly back to Atlanta Tuesday. And then I will go to Memphis, Tennessee next weekend. All right. So if you're in Memphis, the tickets are already on sale. The brunch is on Sunday. The show is Monday. Hey, girl, hey. But yeah, so I've enjoyed myself here. Yesterday was Saturday. You know, I had gone out Thursday and Friday. So yesterday, I relaxed. I took it easy. I took it easy, niece. Yes, I'm gonna get some more footage and put on the Patreon. Okay, I'm gonna get some more footage from and put on the Patreon from the brunch. Um, I hung out with my friend Tamara. You got a little glimpse of Tamara yesterday on the Patreon. For those of you that are on Facebook and on YouTube, she was my friend that came over the other night that had on the hat. So we got together yesterday. We went to dinner, and I was gonna give you guys a longer Patreon, but we had some catching up to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we had some gossiping to do, and I couldn't put that on the Patreon. But the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys was about the brunch. Michelle Yates, her husband came today. I forgot about it and started talking about something else. Her husband came today, and he had his books. You know, they had bought the books before, but I think they got their books from Amazon. And so he came, so I signed his books. And Danielle likes Essentia. It's not bad. I've had it before. It's a 9.5 pH or higher, which is good for you. But this is purified water, and I prefer spring water, okay? But this is okay. You do know that purified water has been treated, okay, niece? So I prefer spring water because it has been treated. But this is not bad. So anyway, Michelle Yates' husband came. He and I took a picture. Michelle wasn't able to come, like I started to tell you. She had knee surgery. She had a knee replacement the other week. Hey, no nonsense. And so she had a knee replacement. But I think you guys know Voss water is trash. No nonsense. It's trash, daughter. If you go over there on YouTube, yeah, see, P. Marcel said she doesn't really like this because it's purified. But no, if you go over to YouTube and type in water test, Voss water test, girl, she doesn't fare well. She doesn't fare well, daughter. Look, who is this? Lakeisha, purified, spring water is what you need. She asked me about distilled water. Niece, ooh, pardon me. We want spring water. Hey, Adrian. So Michelle Yates had knee replacement, so she wasn't able to make it to the brunch today. So she came, her husband came out today. I took a picture with him for her, and then I signed their books, and he had a good time. But you guys think that I may not pay attention. I do pay attention to your posts, okay? If we're connected on Facebook, I do look through there. I see some of that foolishness y'all be posting. I see some of that nonsense. That was the last bite. Look. Hey, no nonsense. Yes, I do have Cash App. It's TheWriter. TheWriter. You got to put the dollar symbol in the front, and you see a picture of me. Look at just being MC or Missy. She trying to be grand like Alicia. Alicia was talking about Bellinis and stuff. Here go, just being Missy. I'll stick to Fuji water, daughter. It's Fiji, not Fuji. It's Fiji water, niece. She's like, I'm gonna stick to Fuji water. It's Fiji. Donnell talking about the Easter ham that I ate today was delicious. Oh, okay. When your ankles swell up tomorrow. Hey, Mariah Ballard. Oh, no nonsense says she's gonna send a little something over to the Cash App. Let me focus my attention down to the YouTube. D'Antoine, you were right. D'Antoine, you were right. I think they take me for granted over here on Facebook. D'Antoine. I'm just playing. Alicia coming for you. She said maybe you have apple life. Apple water. Because Fuji is an apple, niece. It is a mountain. Mount Fuji. No, that's still Fiji. Mount Fiji. Yeah, so you must be talking about water. I think that's awesome. Lakeisha said, what do I think about Hennessy donating $10 million to HBCUs? Listen, I really think I think that's great. Um, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but $10 million is not enough considering the amount of money that black folks spend on dark liquor. I've shared this story with you guys before. Okay, niece said, check your Cash App. Okay, I'm going to check it. I'm on both of these devices. Now, no nonsense. Make sure you sent it to the right person. But listen, Marsha, some of y'all be posting nonsense. Y'all know. Y'all be posting these people out here fighting and carrying on. Y'all be posting people with these bad eyelashes. Y'all be posting people falling all out and wearing in Walmart with their pajamas on. Ooh, Cowgirl DC for Life said, YouTube for the live, Pen Pals group for the vibe. All right. Yeah, divine feminine energy. My page isn't monetized because several years ago, I posted a video on my page, which is still there. It's a trailer from my stage play, A Day in the Life. So you get to see 3 vignettes. You get to see 3 different characters, right? And in one of the vignettes, there's a Lauryn Hill song called Repercussions. And they gave me a copyright strike. I've since removed the music from it. I've already appealed it, and they've still declined me. So I don't think they're ever going to let me monetize. So there you have it. So I don't think I'm ever going to be able to. So if you ever want to, what's it called over there on YouTube when you what's it called over there on YouTube when you send somebody money? I can't remember what it's called. But you'll never be able to do that with me. You have to send me a Cash App. But listen, back to what I was saying. I think it's really good that Hennessy gave $10 million to HBCUs. But I think that's it's super chat. Yes, thank you. But I think that's a drop in the bucket. And I'm going to tell you why. Girl, $10 million. Girl, when I tell you all of these rappers that have rapped about Hennessy and all this other shit, girl, they'd have made more than $10 million several times over. That's the least they could do. That's A. B, did you all know, and I know we're talking about Hennessy, but I want to jump over to Jack Daniels. You know, K Michelle is an ambassador, is a liquor sponsor or an ambassador for Jack Daniels. She has her own Jack Daniels tea or something, right? That she endorses, and of course she gets a piece of the sales or whatever. But did you know that the original recipe for Jack Daniels was created by a slave? Do you hear me, niece? Niece. Jack Daniels was created by a slave. He might be related to me. But listen, the point is, what's problematic about that for me is, think of all of the things. I'm gonna share this story because I know some of the YouTube people don't know this story because I've not shared. Well, I wasn't on YouTube at the time. Doesn't mean you don't know it. But what's problematic about that for me is whoever the descendants of that slave, the family members that descended from that slave that created that recipe for Jack Daniels, is not benefiting financially from that. Now think about this for a moment. Now, I don't know the family. I don't know who that is. But just riddle me for a moment. The descendants of that slave that created Jack Daniels, they could very well be struggling financially. There could be children in that family that are on financial aid at colleges. There could be family members that are on Section 8 or public housing or whatever the case is. And I just think that it's unfortunate that the descendants of that slave isn't benefiting from that, right? Because remember, we were property at one point. So say, for instance, I was the slave that created Jack Daniels. Anything that I was great at, whether it was if I was an artisan, if I was good with steel work and created jewelry or created tools or whatever, I was owned. All of that stuff was owned by the person who owned me. So that recipe was passed down in the white family. It was not passed down to a black family or the descendants family of that who created that recipe. And this is no secret. Now you can Google this. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know to be true. You can Google this. But what I think it should be handled just like reparations, right? The family that owns Jack Daniels is a white family. I think that they need to figure out who this black family is that's actually the descendant, and they should be some sort of a shareholder in the company. That's how I feel about it. Um, but back to the whole Hennessy point, I think it's great that they donated $10 million to HBCUs, but again, that's a drop in the bucket. That's a good start. And I think it's great because a lot of historically black colleges and universities are struggling financially. They're struggling financially. Um, and here's what I would say about the Jack Daniels thing, because I just saw your comment, Cowgirl for DC, Cowgirl DC for Life. She said, "I wonder if the family, the slaves' family, ever tried to appeal or petition them for royalties." I don't know if they've ever done that, but what I do know is the white family that owns Jack Daniels, uh, you know how white folks do. No shade, white people, but y'all good at this. What they did was instead of paying the family, they created some park in tribute to the slave and to the slave's family. I don't want no goddamn park unless that park is gonna generate some revenue. They didn't created some park in honor of the good night. But a lot of HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, are struggling financially. My favorite video is Robert Kelly. What? Bianca, you've typed that a few times. I don't know what you mean by that. Nelson Young. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I open up with good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. So I'm going to trust that that you know this to be true. Nelson Young says some of the descendants of the Jack Daniels are working for the company today. Oh, isn't that something? But a lot of the HBCUs are struggling financially, and a lot of them are at risk of going out of business. So if you are an alum, or if, let's say, you're a person, even if you didn't go to an HBCU, if you're a person that's into philanthropy, if you're into philanthropy, that's something that you could do. Something you could do is donate to like an HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's $5 or $10 or $25 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure if a lot of people did it, it would count. But here's the story that I was going to share. I've shared this with my Facebook folks before. You guys know the show. Do you guys know the show Antique Roadshow? You guys know the show Antique Roadshow, right? And so Zachary TV said he has a question. Go ahead and put your question, and I'm gonna tell the story while you type in your question. But Antique Roadshow used to be one of my favorite shows, and I'm gonna tell you when I stopped watching it, I was traumatized. I'm gonna tell you when I stopped watching Antique Roadshow. I was watching it one day, and it was a white woman. Now, we talk about black shit, white shit, gay shit, everything. So white folks, put your seatbelt on, okay? Now don't be upset and log off the channel, okay? I still need y'all to support my books too. Listen, you might learn a little something tonight. Listen, I was watching Antique Roadshow one day. And when I tell you there was a little white woman on there, and she had a vase, one of those floor pots, right? Like a ceramic floor pot. And hold on, this question is mainly for you. Do you just do work for TS and yourself? Yeah, that's it, Zachary TV, yes. So she had this floor pot. And so, for those who may have never seen Antique Roadshow, it's a show, it's a traveling show. And it used to come on like the public access channel, right? Look, YouTube. They over at Facebook talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. See, the problem is they don't ever want to learn. See, that's their problem. And then they want to get upset when I start paying my attention to you all. See how they do? They over here talking about Portia. They talking about Phaedra might be coming back to the Real House. They need to sit their asses down and pay attention to what I'm explaining to them. And then we can move up in the world as a people. But see, they too busy talking. Thank you, Lola, for holding it down over there. Lola is putting that. Yeah, you used to come on PBS. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry's paying attention. Lola, thank you for putting the information up there about the books. One book is 22, 36, 354. Nikisha says she's listening, but she can't even pay attention. She and Shakika can't even pay attention because Felicia Green up here in South Carolina up here talking about damn Phaedra coming back. Nobody want to talk about Phaedra right now. Sit down and listen. Look, Kim Tyler said, I'm glad I'm over here on YouTube because the whole time you, shh, be quiet, we can't hear. You over here telling people to be quiet, you can't even hear. If it ain't Rita with the goddamn Benson and Hedges cigarettes, it's them over there running their mouths talking. Sit down. Marsha Elliott talking about, we're listening. No, you're not. Y'all talking about Portia and Phaedra coming back and Cynthia's my favorite housewife. Portia's my favorite. We are not talking about the housewives in here. Y'all need to go over to the shade room if y'all want to talk about that. We good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. We talk about some smart stuff over here. The whole Facebook tonight is the GED section. The whole Facebook is the GED section, with the exception of a few. Doris says she come over to YouTube. Somebody slide over so Doris can sit down. Doris is coming over here to the YouTube. Somebody slide over. Doris, Febreze your outfit before you come over here, please, because I think you were sitting next to Rita with those cigarettes. Somebody hand her some Febreze so she can spray herself as she come over here, because I think we got a few people over here with asthma, and we don't need nobody over here coughing and choking and shit with that residual smoke on your clothes, because Rita don't know how to put them cigarettes out. And look at Marsha trying to rush the story. So the woman with the floor vase, no, you're not gonna rush me now. She's gonna try to rush me now. All right, so anyway, YouTube. So what had happened was, see, my throat is still trying to clear up. See, I'm trying to cough in a little bit because see, I'm trying to get let me get a little bit more elderberry. Let me get some elderberry while they settle down over here at YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. And then they want to know why I don't pay their asses no mind. All right. So the show used to come on PBS, and it was called Antique Roadshow. So basically, you could take like old stuff from your house that you thought may have had value. It could be a painting. It could be a dresser drawer. Not a dresser drawer, but it could have been a dresser like an armoire or something. Whatever it is, silverware, a doll, anything that you think may have some value. And so it's like a traveling show, Antique Roadhouse. And so basically, and they would televise it, and basically people would come in and they would have an appraiser. They would have an appraiser look at your whatever it is that you brought in, and they would tell you what they thought the value. They would tell you the history behind it, what century it came from, who the creator was, who the manufacturer was, or whatever, right? And so this little white, listen, it was never really many of us on there because, as soon as we get something that we think has some value, we somewhere down to the pawn shop trying to. Is anybody interested in the truth? We down at the pawn shop trying to. I wonder how much I could get for this. We ain't got nothing to take down to the Antique Roadshow, right? So when the cameras were panning through the auditorium where the show was, you never really saw black people. It was always a bunch of white folks, right? Because we done took our shit down to the pawn shop, knowing we ain't got no intentions of going back to get it. We just wanted that money, right? So I don't know where this came from, Leela. My friend Danielle gave me this. I'll ask her, though, and I'll tell you guys. I'll post a picture of it in the group on Facebook. So anyway, this one white woman came in there, right? And she had this floor vase. And so it was setting, not sitting, because non-living objects don't sit. They set, okay? It was setting on the floor. And the appraiser, was looking at it, and it had a small little crack on it, right? It had a small crack. So he gave her the history behind it and told her, the creator of this ceramic floor pot was a guy named Dave. He said, do you see that name that's etched in down here on the bottom? You see that? You see it says Dave? He said, well, he was known as Dave the Slave. Baby, I was done. He said he was known by everyone as Dave the Slave. He said, "Oh, he was an amazing artist. He was great. He was really great with his hands." He's telling this whole story, and he's talking about how Dave was a potter. He was a potter, and whoever owned him when he was a slave used to take everything that he created and sell it as a way of living. So Dave's family didn't benefit, just like Jack Daniels' family, the people who created the slave who created Jack Daniels, his family didn't benefit. So he says, "You see that name there? That's Dave." He said he was known as Dave the Slave. He said, "Yeah, he was an amazing artist." He said, "There are only a few of these left in the world." Did you hear what I said, niece? There are only a few of these pots left in the world. He said that. I mean, I think there are a few, in some museums around the world. I think they have one at the Smithsonian. It was like three of them in existence, right? And this white woman had one in her house. He said, "Do you know anything about this? Can you tell me anything about it? Like, where did you get this from?" And she said, a little white woman, "Well, I don't really know. It's been passed down in my family, and no one really wanted it. And so I've just had it, and I just looked at it one day, and I figured I'd just bring it down here and see." Baby, when I tell you that man said to her, "Well, do you have any idea of how much you think this pot would go for at auction today?" Now, mind you, the appraisers that come, that evaluate it and let them know the history behind it and, who made it and how much it would cost. These appraisers came from auction houses like Sotheby's and places like that, right? Baby, when I tell you that lady did not know anything about this pot, he said, "Well, how much do you think it would go for at auction today?" She said, "Oh, I have no idea. Like, how much do you think?" Baby, when I say that man said that little pot could sell for upwards of 60 grand, I was done. I was done. I was scarred for life. I could never watch the show again. And you know why? I was scarred because that one episode, now watch this, that one episode of that show was a classic example of how white folks have gotten ahead of us. It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they're more innovative. It's not any of that. It's because they've had a head start. Because now watch this. Because the reality is, if Dave's family had inherited that pot, you don't hear me. Dave's family could have used that same money to create a trust fund for his family. But see, that white woman would take that same pot and she would cash it in and she would create a trust fund for her grandchildren. She'd pay for her son's wedding. You know how they be having these $25,000 weddings? Even though I don't think nobody need no $25,000 wedding. And it gives them an advantage. It gives them a head start. But here's another scenario. Do you ever watch Property Brothers on HGTV? Property Brothers and shows like Property Virgin. Is it Property Virgin? I think it's called Property Virgin. And you always see these little young white couples on there. And they be like, "Yeah, so we're going to help you find your first house. How much do you guys have for your down payment?" And them motherfuckers be having like $40,000 to put down. I be like, "Bitch, if you got $40,000 to put down, how much do they have in their account?" If you got 40 grand to put down, because you ain't spending all your money to put down on no down payment. If you got 40 grand to put down on a house, or they'll be like, "Oh, well, my mother-in-law gave us $10,000 to help us as a gift. It was a housewarming gift." Bitch, who giving out $10,000 housewarming gifts? But my point is, they're able to do stuff like that because they've taken everything from us. So, no shade, white folks. Don't get out your feelings. Niece, get out your feelings. I'm just telling y'all the way that it is. But my point is, think of all of the things that we did not inherit, that we should have inherited. Look, my girl Nikisha said, "Baby, I'm glad to be able to just pay a bill on time." Okay? Who you telling? Look, I got an overdraft fee today. or yesterday. Sure did. I got an overdraft fee yesterday. Sure did. I'm gonna call the bank on Monday. Do y'all think y'all can reverse that $36? I need my $36 back. Anyway, but the point is, think of all of the things that we created as slaves that are in museums today. That black families weren't that black families didn't inherit. You understand? Things that were passed down to white slave owners that went down in families and went down generationally through white families. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, Kim Tyler, that's my Cash App over there. Child, no nonsense. Says she thinks she done sent the money to the wrong channel. She thinks she done sent the money to the wrong Cash App. Diva Denise 33 said, yes, I used to watch the show until they had a white episode dedicated to Black history. Well, it pissed me off so bad because those people came in with documents and things were signed and intact. But but the reality is it's just one of those examples where that would have given us some leverage. That would have given, you know what I'm saying? Because like, here's a completely different example. My grandmother, when she passed away, she was 96. She was born in 1906. Baby, she was a generation out of slavery, okay? She was born in 1906. And so my grandmother used to make this homemade mustard, right? She used to take the mustard seeds. We're my church folk. All you need is the faith of a mustard seed. She used to take the little mustard seeds and she would put it in a little, I can't think of what it's called right now, and she would pummel it. She would grind it up into a powder, right? She would grind it up into a powder, right? And it may be there, no nonsense, honey. She is having a fit. She said, girl, I think I done sent the money to the wrong Cash App. I'm going to check it and see. It should be there. But trust and believe, if you sent it to the wrong one, you can have them pull it back. But anyway, so she would put the powder, she would put the mustard seeds in a thing. I can't think of what it's called. It was a little ceramic dish. And she would take a thing and pummel it, right? And it would turn into a powder. And she would put like spices in it. I don't know what she would put in it. I don't know. But she would put like different peppers in it because it was spicy. She would do a spicy one and she did a mild one. But she would put vinegar in it. All the stuff that goes in mustard. So my mother and I'm not a big mustard fan, but my mother and all of those people, my aunts, they loved her mustard, her homemade mustard. So my mom had this idea, because my mom is the entrepreneur in the family, and I believe that I got all of my entrepreneur gifts from her, because I watched her. Michael Allen said he remembers this story. Yes. So my mom said to my aunts, the ones that are living, well, of course she didn't say it to the ones that are dead. Hey, listen, I want to do this mustard. Look, knocking on the coffin. But listen, so she said to my aunts that are living, listen, why don't we get this recipe and try to, manufacture it? Maybe we could sell it. Maybe we could take it to some farmers markets, start off ground level, right? Start off small. There's nothing wrong with starting small. D1 Smith, what's your question? So she wanted to go to like farmers markets and things like that and sell it and, and then just try to scale it up. Baby, one of my aunts has the recipe. And she refused to share the recipe. Oh God. Now, white people, this is where the tide turns and I start talking about black folks. Black folks, stop being so selfish with each other, okay? Now, my aunt won't share the recipe. Now, girl, why won't you share the recipe? You got the paperwork, you got the recipe written down on a piece of paper, tucked away in a drawer somewhere, and you don't want to share it. See, this is why sometimes, not all the time, this is why sometimes we don't know how to create generational wealth. Huh? Because see, maybe my mom and my aunts may not live to see the maturation of the mustard company. But what if my nephews or my younger cousins get to see it and it creates generational wealth for future generations of my family members? But she won't share it. She's like, if y'all wanted it, If y'all wanted the recipe, then y'all should have asked mama for it. That's what we call my grandmother. Y'all should have asked mama for it before she died. Y'all could have asked her just like I did. That's ignorant. So you just gonna let the recipe just sit. So how does that serve you? How does that serve you? I don't understand that. Let me see if my girl typed her question over here. D1 Smith. She must still be typing, girl. She's still typing. It ain't come up yet. Diva Denise 33 says she's trying to situate her situation. So she won't share the recipe. So, sometimes we cripple ourselves. I don't understand why she won't share it. Hey, Tequila Tucker. Oh, okay. Here's D1 Smith with her question. I bought a house from a previous owner who was white. His father is the owner of the Coca-Cola chain on the East Coast. Well, good grief. After we bought the house, a picture was left. Okay. She must be typing the rest of it. I'll read the rest when she types it up there. But I think it's really important that we start to really appraise our things. Start to really appraise your things, like those things that you see at a that you want to put out at a what's it called when you sell your stuff outside your house? Not a flea market. What's it called when you do a yard sale? You know how you do your little yard sales and stuff? You need to have that stuff appraised and evaluated. Now you got to get it. You got to pay to have it appraised, and they ain't gonna appraise it for free. But it might be worth it if you think it's something that's really old, like a heavy piece of furniture or something. So she says the picture is of a Coca-Cola plant, and it's signed in the back. Girl, you need to get that appraised. You need to figure out whose signature that is. First of all, Google the name on the back. Google the name, niece. If you can make out the name, the signature that's on the back, girl, Google it and see who it is. Type in the name and then type in Coca-Cola and see what come up. Now, girl, I'm gonna need 5%. I'm just playing. But no, type in the name. If it's legible, I say for instance the name on the back of there that's written on there. Say for instance the name was Craig Stewart. Type in Craig Stewart and then type in Coca-Cola. Because you said it's a picture of a, what'd you say? It's a picture of a Coca-Cola plant. So maybe whoever's signature is on it is tied to that. I would Google it first. I would start there. And then I would maybe have it appraised. But girl, don't release it until you get it appraised. But yeah, so I really think it's important to have your stuff appraised. I think it's important to hold on to things of value for as long as you can. I do understand that sometimes we sometimes get into a bind and we need that money from a property sale. But I think you should hold on to land and property for as long as you can. Having a piece of property or having a piece of land is like having money in the bank. You can always borrow off that land. This is why I love the show Queen Sugar so much. If you have not watched Queen Sugar, or you one of those people that say, oh my God, I just can't get into it, it's just too boring. Take your ass back to season 1 and just start over and just do it for me. Just watch it for me. Watch season 1. There's an episode on season 1 of Queen Sugar. And it's coming back soon. The show is coming back. I think the 3rd or 4th season. But anyway, it's one of my favorite shows. And I know some of you started watching it because listen, when that show first came on, that's all I would talk about on here. And I know some of you didn't like the show and some of you revisited it and you started watching it and you started to like it. But I'm telling you, the show is a jewel. It's a jewel for many reasons because aesthetically, when you look at the show, first of all, the way that they photograph Black folks on that show, it's beautiful. The way that we come up on that screen, the way that they light our skin, the colors that so the story behind the story is what I'm talking about. It's beautiful. Then you get down to how they write the dialogue and the way that they love on each other and just the whole thing, right? Go ahead with your questions, Zachary TV. But the reason why that show was so profound to me on season 1, and when that season 1 aired, I posted this video clip of what I'm talking about. It was a while ago, so I don't know where it is on my Facebook. But there was an episode where the Black family, the show is set in Louisiana. There was an episode where the Black family told the story of how their family came to acquire a piece of land. It was a small piece of land. But this small piece of land that they acquired was in the center of a larger piece of land that was owned by a white family. The white family had to relinquish that small piece that the black family had because the white family fell on hard times during the Depression, the Great Depression, right? So during that time, now watch this, and I'm gonna come back for your questions. The black family came to acquire that piece of land because once they were free, once the family members were free, some of those family members, this is basic history, some of those family members moved from Louisiana up north to states or cities like Chicago, right? Because you know a lot of the Midwest people have roots in Mississippi and Louisiana because of the Great Migration. This is history. Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. We're going to laugh and cut up, but we're going to learn some stuff too. Amen. So a lot of black folks migrated to Chicago, Detroit, because they had all those factories, and black folks were free up north, and they were able to make more money up north. So, based on this TV show, some of the black family moved up north, right? And so they were making this great money. And even though the black family down south, they were struggling because they also were suffering from the Great Depression as well. But they had black family members that lived up north that was sending money back down to them. And so when that white family fell on hard times during the Depression, the black family bought that little chunk of land. Baby, I ain't gonna tell you all of it because I want you to go back and watch it. The black family sits down, the Aunt Vi, and one of the older guys in the community. They sit down with the young generation and they explain to them the importance of holding on to land. They explain to them that how their family came into this land, and it was important that they hold on to the land. And what happened was, when the black family acquired this land, the white family, this goes back to what I was just telling you about that floor pot and Jack Daniels. When the white family got back on their feet, they tried to pretend like they never sold that little piece of land to the black family. They went to the bank. They told the bank that we never sold this to them. Mysteriously, the deed to the land disappeared. And what ended up happening was the black family would not relinquish the land. They said, no, we own this land. And what ended up happening was those white folks, sore losers, they were sore losers. They went and started hanging the they said that your grandmother was hanged, your uncle such and such was hanged. They were trying to coerce them into giving the land back to them. But then what happened was the bank mysteriously found found the deed again, and they said that the black family did rightfully own it. So for generations, this white family has been trying to get that piece of land back, and they made it difficult for the father to maintain that piece of land. He had a sugar cane farm. You know, sugar. You know, y'all eat all that sugar. He had a sugar cane farm, and it's a very lucrative business. And there aren't a lot of black farmers even today. So they were doing everything in their power to make it difficult for him to sell the land. They were trying to make him sell that land, and he wouldn't sell it. And then it was passed down generationally. So the bottom line is, it's important to hold on to land as much as you can, okay? Now let me go over into these questions. So I'm going to be starting a business very soon. Should you do trademarking right away? Zachary TV said I'm starting a business soon and I'm going to be trademarking. Is it going to be too much if you tell me what the business is and then I'll tell you? Is it something that's can you tell me that without giving it away? Can you tell me what kind of business it is? Because trademarking might be something that you can hold off on. I trademarked "Say It in a Card." Say it in a card, like the logo that you see with the it's called a text logo because it's a word. They have images that are that you can trademark as well. Like if it's a piece of artwork, like the boomerang for Target, that's trademark. That's an image. But then they have text logos too. Like mine is a text logo because it's a word. So I trademarked it, but that wasn't the first thing that I did. There may be some other things that you can do first before you spend that money on trademarking. Trademarking is going to cost you about $250, right? That's just to file the paperwork. Now, if you have an attorney do it for you, of course, they're going to charge you their fee. but it costs you $250 to do it. Now, I have a friend who was in law school who did mine for me for free, but I had to pay the $250 for the trademarking itself. You know what? I do need the trademark. Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. You're right about that. So I paid but what happened was you can go to USPTO.gov. That's United States Patent and Trademark Office.gov. So it's USPTO.gov. And you can search the name of your business, whatever it is that you're going to create, and see if that name is already trademarked. Here's a little piece of history. If you've been over to Say It in a Card, you already know this. If you looked at the About section, I tell you the story behind Say It in a Card. When I first came up with the greeting cards, it was called From Me to You, because that was what I was trying to call. So like when you gave a greeting card to somebody, it was like the sentiment was, this is from me to you. So the card was, the business was called From Me to You. But when I got with my friend, yes, that's it, Mrs. Scouting Pro, USPTO.gov. When I got with my friend who worked for the attorney's office, who was in law school, he was able to do a more comprehensive search. Because if you go over to uspto.gov and you can search for a name of a business and stuff like that, and it may not come up, but that does not mean that it doesn't exist. An attorney has access to a different system where they can scrub deeper. So when he looked it up, sure enough, From Me to You was already trademarked by Hallmark. The reason I'm telling you this is because let's just say I had went on and tried to trademark From Me to You and I had paid my $250. The information would have come back that it was already in use. I would have lost my $250. I would have had to pay again. So you want to do some sort of a search before you spend your money. So I found out that even though Hallmark didn't have a line of greeting cards called From Me to You, excuse me, they bought the name, they reserved the name just to have it, right? So you always want to look, do your due diligence before you do it. Yeah, Hallmark be on it, baby. But if y'all get over there and get to order them greeting cards at sayitinaCard.com, we can give them a run for their money. Okay? Charnette said to register a trademark, go to www.uspto.gov. You can trademark your business name for free. So he says, I have my own logo and everything, but it's basically going to be a lot of businesses. My business name is the Special Ed Proud Studios. Okay, so for example, my business, my company is called Impeccable Works LLC. Underneath Impeccable Works is Say It in a Card. Underneath there is Words Never Spoken, which is my first book. All of the books are underneath it. So the parent company is Impeccable Works. So that if you end up getting a business account for some of those other ventures that you have, like if I do, like I don't have a specific business account for Say It in a Card. I just have a business account for Impeccable Works. But if I wanted to open up a specific account for Say It in a Card, I would just do a business account and it would be Say It in a Card, DBA. No. Say It in a Card, DBA, doing business as Impeccable Works. That would be on the check ledger. So you can always do it like that. You always want to have a parent company and then other things can fall up underneath there, subsidiaries. So you can do it like that. But what I would say to you is, I wouldn't really worry so much about trademarking, spending the money on trademarking, because that $250 could be better spent doing other things. There are going to be a lot of things that you're going to need to do to ramp your business, to get it up off the ground. So I wouldn't really spend money on that. Now, once you get to the point where you start creating buzz, then yeah, go ahead and, trademark it to protect it. But that wouldn't be my priority. There are going to be things that you need before that, probably a website, depending on what it is that you do. Because that's the thing, like a lot of times people spend money on business cards. Like I don't really spend money on business cards. People want to see your website before they see your business card. Quiet as is kept, I don't really hold on to people. Somebody gave me a business card today at the brunch. She gave me her business card. I didn't even really look at it. Well, one, because I was busy. But even now that I'm sitting at home, what I would probably do, this is about virgin hair. I guess she gave me this so I could tell Madison, because clearly I don't need no virgin hair. But I would say your money would be better spent probably getting it, because people want to look your business up. For whatever reason, a website legitimizes your business. You know what I'm saying? A website will, people gonna say, well, what's your website? They don't want to look at your Facebook. You need to go over there and look at they want to, so I would spend that $250 on a website as opposed to trying to copyright. That's kind of like putting the cart before the horse, you know? So just something to think about. Yeleno said, hey, Craig, I was listening to the second book on Audible while dropping my daughter off at Mississippi State. Come on, Mississippi State. Do you know whatever happened to Chaz and his mom? Chaz's mom passed away, yes. And when I was in LA this last time, remember when myself and Madison and we were out there working? I saw Chaz serendipitously, there's a word. It was just by chance that I happened to see him. But yeah, he's still out there, you know, doing business, but his mom passed away. Oh, wait a minute. I concur, my maternal. D. Shuggy, I guess it's Shuggy. I concur, my maternal family has their land, but this is mine, straight out. Teaching financial literacy is the key to no debt. Yes, indeed. Let me look up here. Thank you, Sherry Kuntz. Somebody was saying something about copyright. I missed that over here. But Tanette said, yeah, when you copyright something, if you're a painter, you can copyright your artwork too. There are different types of copyrights. There's literary copyright, there's music copyright, there's art. When you go to the Library of Congress.gov, you can Google this. Just Google Library of Congress. But I think it's LOC.gov. You don't even have to type out Library of Congress. You can just type out LOC.gov, and it'll ask you what type of work you're copywriting. And it's $39, yes, for copyright. And you can now upload it straight from your computer. Like if it's a document or music, you can upload it directly from your computer to their website. You're welcome, Dantuan. Have a good night. No nonsense, I promise. I'm going to check the cash up as soon as I get off of here. I promise. How long have we been on here? Oh, 63 minutes. Oh, yeah, niece, it's time to get off of here. Which can cost up to wow. Okay, so I think it's Scylla, like as in Priscilla. New York requires all LLCs to publish in a daily and weekly newspaper for 6 weeks. Really? Oh, wow. Which can cost up to $1,100. Marie says, the things we have to learn and pass along to our kids, my mom and father was never taught. All right. Yeah, we try to teach a little something. You hear my voice going in and out? It's almost like I'm trying to be hoarse. Listen, you guys have an amazing night. I appreciate you. Oh, listen, Rita shared a video over in the So Much to Say podcast pen pal group. And then I shared part 2 of that video. It was Steve Harvey. And it was a young guy, 40 years old, black guy. He's married. He's West Indian. He said, I believe he was Jamaican. He lost his job. And he always had a passion for food. And he's always wanted to start like a food truck, like a Jamaican food truck, right? And so his question was, you know how they do the segment, Ask Steve? And he asked him, he said, what do you think I should do? He said, because I've been applying for jobs and I haven't gotten anything. And all of the jobs that I try to apply for, they tell me that I'm overqualified for or whatever. So he's kind of like stuck. So Steve Harvey said, what are you passionate about? He said, maybe that's God trying to tell you that he's putting you in a different direction. You know, we talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. Don't think about, you have to trust and know that everything happens when and as it should. I've shared this story in my first book. For those of you that have not read the first book, it's not just about me coming out. It's just not about being gay. It's not just that. It's also about the lessons that I've delineated. It's also about the lessons. And I really believe that there were times that I was trying to find a job and looking for a job, or I was working a job and I lost those jobs because God, the universe, was trying to get me on this path right here to become a full-time writer. And so sometimes God, the universe, will try to redirect you. And you're so busy trying to find a desk job or a computer job because that's what you've always done. And that's not what the universe has for you. So anyway, I shared part 2 of that video over there in the So Much to Say podcast pen pal group. So if you haven't seen it, it literally brought tears to my eyes. If you haven't seen it, go over there and watch it because it may inspire you. Now, Michael Allen said, can you please repeat what you said about copywriting? I was saying that when you copyright, now trademarking and copywriting are two different things. Copywriting is for your protection so that if you end up in court, like if somebody uses your work, it's a way for you to document that you own it, that you created it, because the date that you copyrighted is what would stand up in court. So say, for instance, somebody said to me, say, for instance, somebody published my first book, and they said, and I ended up finding out that they published my first book. That's a copyright infringement. So let's say we end up going to court. And I would say, well, here's my copyright paperwork. I copyrighted this book in 2011. And if the person who's claiming to own the copyright copyrighted theirs in 2013, the judge is going to say, well, no, Mr. Stewart's copyright precedes yours. So that's the purpose of copyright. Trademarking is similar, but it's, yes, intellectual property. Yes, good word. Trademarking is similar. It's like you're branding your business. That's what trademarking is. And so, like, for example, like when people invent something or create something, that's when you trademark. Like a lot of times if you watch Shark Tank, like I'm a Shark Tank fanatic, I'm probably gonna watch that when I get off of here. When people invent something, whether it's some sort of an invention, they trademark it. I'm sorry. They patent it. They get a patent on it. So there are different things so you wouldn't copyright an invention. You would patent an invention. Okay, so it's just different. So what I was saying about copywriting, there are different ways of copywriting. So there's literary copyrights, there's musical copyrights, and then there's like if you're like a visual artist, there are different types of copywriting. So when you get over to that website, loc.org, libraryofcongress.org, you'll see the different types of copyright, and based on what you do is the one that you would choose. But it's about $39 to copyright. All right? So listen, you guys have an amazing night. Thank you for supporting what I do. So when I shared that video with Steve Harvey and the young guy, it brought tears to my eyes because it made me think about you guys and how you guys really support what I do. I appreciate you logging in when I sign on, because I could just be sitting here by my damn self. But anyway, you guys have an amazing night. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. Get your cold pressed, unrefined, organic coconut oil and swish it around in your mouth. Okay? And get down on your knees and say your prayers. And if you can't get down on your knees because you got fluid in your knees or heavy ankles, just lay in your bed and just take a moment and just give thanks. Just say thank you. Thank you for peace of mind. Thank you for clarity. Thank you for the ability to reason and make sound decisions and judgment. Thank you for being able to breathe. What? You understand what I'm saying? There's sometimes when I'm outside and it's really, really cold outside, I get a little bit of my EOS from my lips. Sometimes when you outside and it's very, very cold and you get home and you just like, Jesus, thank you for this warm bed and this heat. Because somebody is outside on that hard, cold concrete. Be grateful, niece. You got to be grateful at this level. When you're grateful at this level, God, the universe can move you to the next level. And if you can't think of anything to be grateful for, write down 5 things. We used to do this a while ago on my Facebook. Write down 5 things that you're grateful for. And I just gave you about 3 or 4. The ability to reason, to make sound decision and judgment, fresh, clean air. You hear what I'm saying? The fact that you have wireless internet or internet to be able to log on here from your cell phone. Because there's somebody right now who wish they had a phone. Huh? I'm just trying to tell you, find things to be grateful for. Find things, listen, I don't care what's going on in your life. Find things to be grateful for. He may have broke your heart, but there's a lesson in it. For every single thing you can learn about someone else, there are 3 things you can learn about yourself. For every one thing that you can learn about someone else, there are 3 things you can learn about yourself. Amen? Trust and know that it all happens by design. It's designed to grow you exponentially. It's designed to grow you exponentially. If it's a heartbreak, I don't know, it may be a heartbreak. Listen, if it's a heartbreak, just trust and know that it's designed to teach you something. And just say thank you for the lesson. ask for the vision to be able to see it the next time it shows up, because I believe every lesson repeats itself until you learn it. Now, you're either going to learn it this time or it's going to show up again. Yolanda Thomas, is that my girl that ordered the books the other day? Is that you? You'll have your books. I actually shipped your books here from New York. Um, so you should have them Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, if that's my girl Yolanda that ordered the books from me. But just be grateful. Sit in the pain of it, whatever it is. Sit in the pain of it. Stop running away. Stop running away, niece. Sit in the pain of it, because you have to pull the lesson from it. If you run from it, you can't pull the lesson from it, niece. Sit and sink in the pain of it. Thank you, Michelle Howard. Yes. Oh, Tina Fitzgerald said, I got my mug today. All right. Hey, niece. Listen, be grateful. Be grateful for it all. Okay, it was another Yolanda then, Yolanda Thomas. It was a different Yolanda. But just be grateful for it all. You know, I have really learned, I'll be 43 soon. I have really learned not to fear anything, not a heartbreak. Like some of you right now won't get into a relationship. You're afraid to get into a relationship because you're afraid of being hurt. Or you're in a relationship right now and you're barely breathing. You're taking short breaths because you're so afraid to really sit in it and enjoy the fullness, the bounty of love. You're afraid because you've been hurt. And some of you, you can't even recognize a good thing when it show up because you can't even see the good in people because you're so jaded and scarred and calloused. Niece, you got to shake it off. You got to trust and know that it is all by design. Now, I'm not saying go into anything blind. Don't be no fool. Don't be no fool, niece. Oh, that voice is cracking. Quiet as a kept. I like when my voice is a little cracky like that. Listen, you have to just know that you weren't built to crumble. You weren't created to collapse. You weren't created to collapse, niece. The greatest amount of growth comes from the most painful experiences. I don't care if it's the death of someone close to you. I don't care if it's a heartbreak. I don't care if it's a loss of a job or career that you've been on for 15, 20 years. You have to know that there is something on the other. Listen, there's something on the other side of your loss. There's something on the other side of that. You have to trust and know that the universe is trying to redirect you. It's just trying to redirect, but you can't experience it and really get the lesson. You can't glean from it if you're holding on to the job that you think you still supposed to have. You have to listen. One of the things that I learned when I moved to LA, and this is when I was writing the first book, you have to adapt to whatever comes your way. You have to adapt to whatever comes your way. And like what I learned is when you pull and you dig your feet down in the ground, trying not to listen, that's when it becomes even more painful. You have to just surrender to it. And I never used to understand what surrender, you know how Oprah, for me, it was always Oprah saying, surrender to it. Or they say it in church, surrender to it. I surrender all. I never understood what that meant. I'm going to tell you what it means if you don't know what it means. If your house is in foreclosure, let it go. Surrender to it. If your car is about to be repossessed and you have no other way of, surrender to it. Let it go. Trust that it's okay. Surrender to it. I'm telling you how it works. I'm telling you what I know. You got to trust the process. Stop worrying about what people going to think because you done lost your house or your car. You stop worrying about what the story is going to be. Well, what am I going to tell them when they ask me? Bitch, I don't have it no more. Listen, I done had 4 cars repossessed in my lifetime. Ain't no shame in my game, okay? They served me for the time that I had them. I drove the hell out them cars. But when it was time for me to let them go, it was time for me to let them go. I had a business that I was trying to run. I didn't have no money for no car payment and car insurance and tires and maintenance. I had to let it go. It was something else listen, my resources were needed someplace else. Some of you now are trying to figure out, well, how am I tell them that I broke up with Tyrone? Girl, damn that. Listen, it didn't work. It no longer worked. This is Danielle. Hold on. I got something else I want to say. Girl, I'm in here preaching on this Facebook. This Facebook and this YouTube. But listen, here's the other thing that I want to say, and then I'm going to get off here so I can talk to Danielle. You ever been in a situation like in a relationship, and you knew you needed to get out of the relationship, and you knew that things weren't working, but you were waiting for a tangible reason to get out? And what I mean is a tangible reason, by a tangible reason is, oh, well, he had to have been abusive, or he had to have cheated. You had to have some sort of a reason. You had to have a story for why you needed to get out. One of the things that I learned, my instincts alone are enough to say, let me get out of here. You don't have to have a reason. Your instinct alone is enough to say, I'm out of here, and shoot them the deuce. That's it. So on that note, tomorrow is Monday. Now, you know we got this live show in New York, so I may not be able to come on this live, but I will definitely have a Patreon.